Hello, welcome back to Live Courageous. Today, we're going to connect to assignment and some of the convictions that go along with the assignment when you face those things. We're in a 6-week series on becoming. And today's title is Walking in Your Assignment. The theme for this day is stewardship. You will hear about that. You'll hear about focus and obedience to your specific calling. Your assignment isn't always easy, popular, or convenient, but it's always purposeful. And today, I'm going to give you this. The promise is why comparison is so distracting. You're going to hear about that. And then you're going to hear about how clarity is lost when focus is divided. Also, what it means to steward your assignment well. So I'm going to tell you about what we look at in terms of assignment versus comparison. Comparison can create confusion. If you do not know, I am a Maxwell leader. I joined the team in March 2025. When I went to Orlando, my initial thought was to take my group of leaders that I already have in my organization so that they may enhance their leadership positions and to learn more and value themselves more in terms of dealing with themselves, the other employees, their families. And so, needless to say, when we got there, I really liked what I was hearing through John Maxwell and his team. And I joined, not knowing what I was going to do with the information, but because I was already doing podcasting, I thought this would be another step up to educate other people and things that's going on and just to give value and just to continue my growth also. And so when I joined, not knowing there was a lot of work that's involved, I went in August to the Maxwell conference, the international conference in Orlando. And then I joined another level then. So I joined mentorship. But during my time there, I met some great people. Some people that were already in the speaking arena and they were doing public speaking. And that intimidated me. I thought to myself, this is a lot. What did I sign up for? And because I was hearing all of these people talking and I'm comparing myself to them and said, I've never done this. How am I going to do this? And guess what? It was confusing. And because I was creating that atmosphere for myself, I had to stop. I really had to pause and try to figure out what I need to get out of what I'm doing currently. Because I'm already in. I've joined the next level. What's next, So I have to do some self-talk in order for me to shift my focus. And so again, we sometimes watch other people and try to figure out what they're doing. But at that time, I had to shift my focus and said, I need to develop my skills. And sometimes it gets diluted. Our calling does get diluted sometimes, especially when we don't follow through. Your assignment requires your full attention. Comparison doesn't motivate it, it distracts it. So when I was 10 years old, my dad came to me and he thought I needed to be a lawyer. He really wanted me to be a lawyer. But I didn't see myself being a lawyer. I didn't even have lawyer tendencies, I would say to myself. I wasn't one that likes to argue, debate, or anything like that. But what I did see, my mom, she was caring for individuals. She would go and help people get dressed, change them, um, change their incontinent depends, when they mess on themselves. She would talk to them. She gave them their medications. She's very empathetic and caring. That is what really drew me to wanting to do something like that. I thought to myself, I want to do what she's doing. I didn't even know what she was doing in terms of her job description or whatever, or her title. I put it her title. I didn't know what that was. Later on, I did learn that she was a nurse assistant. I always thought she was a nurse, but my drive was to become a nurse so I can make an impact. And so in high school, I researched what I need to do to become a nurse. I had some mentors. A friend of mine, we both had the same likings. She wanted to become a nurse also, so we did the hard work to try to figure this thing out. I ended up going to college. And again, college life was not for me like everyone else thinks. You leave home and you can go and party and hang out with people. My college life consisted of sitting in a dormitory and studying because I knew I was not an A student. I wasn't a B student sometimes. And for sure, I probably was a C student. But I had to drive. I wanted to really become a nurse. This is what my passion was, and I wanted to get it done in 4 years. So I had a determination. There were some obstacles, of course. I did finish the first 2 years in Iowa, and I had to go to the next 2 years for nursing program in Independence, Missouri. So again, my class consisted of older people that have already been in the work field at one time and going back to get a degree. They had families, they had children. I was the youngest. And guess what? I was the only African American at the end of the day that graduated with this team. It wasn't easy. It was very, very challenging. And one day, one of my instructors actually told me, this is before even I knew to stop and pause and figure out what is she saying to me. She really, really told me that she didn't think nursing was going to be for me because of how rigorous it was. In our college, it was very difficult, okay? It's one of the top schools in the United States. I would not say the name. But I did not hear the noise. I kept my focus. I knew I had an assignment. I knew I had to get my nursing degree, and I was going to do it regardless. Of course, I had another thing that came up, even though, again, trying to study and trying to navigate how to, just become a student, to be a great student. And I did. What I did was I connected to other people that were already self-driven too. They had families because they knew they had to get this degree because of their families, And so I really honed in on those individuals. We studied, and it was a pivotal point in my life to graduate from nursing school. So again, my assignment was to become a nurse, and I am a nurse. Why is focus so hard sometimes? Because we have too many opinions. In my story, my dad, he wanted me to be a lawyer. I didn't want that. That wasn't for me. But I did want what I wanted, which was my nurse. I wanted to be a nurse. And sometimes the fear of missing out. Sometimes we just listen to the noise other people telling us. And in my Maxwell story, as I told you, I wasn't afraid of missing out. I just wanted to make an impact. I want to make an impact. That's why I do what I do. And the pressures to do more, I'm only my own person that's putting my own pressure on myself. I don't listen to other people's pressures. So that's what we have to learn that. I had to learn that. So again, distractions can be so subtle, but they're very expensive. I'm going to say that again. Distractions can be subtle, but it's expensive. So I'm going to redefine what assignment is and what assignment is not. Okay, assignment is not a competition. Not for others. I find myself in competition with myself. I have to do a little every day to build these blocks because, again, I'm building an empire. So the competition's on me. And it's not a race. It takes some time. The small things that you do makes a difference. And so you have to celebrate the wins, no matter how small it is or how large it is. And it's not a performance. It's not for somebody else. It's for you. So what assignment is stewardship. Because God has given you this ability. He's given you an assignment. We all have an assignment. We have to walk in our assignment. We have to walk in our purpose. And obedience, when you do find out what that assignment is, you need to walk in that obedience. Do not ignore what God is telling you to do. And you have to trust the process. It's not a short process. It's really a long process. There's no quick fix to this. And you have to be faithful. Faithful in the small things. Faithful in the great things. Faithful when it's not going right. Just keep at it. So your assignment is not up for debate. I'm going to give you 3 frameworks that you can develop around this assignment. I'm going to tell you about the 3 P's. You can pause, pray, and then proceed. Get clear on what God is asking you to do and stop comparing yourself to others. And timeliness, there's no time limit on this. This can be a lifetime. You're never too old to learn. And then steward, again, it's already in your hands. You just have to do something with it. And then faithfulness, that precedes expansion. You can't even imagine when you stay faithful to the small things. I'm going to tell you about a quote here. Some people, they chase success, and others, they chase comfort. But the fulfilled ones, they learn to walk in their assignment. So I'm going to give you this week's challenge. I want you to ask yourself, where am I distracted from my assignment? Could it be your timing, your social media, maybe your friends, significant other? Could it be your job or even your kids? Or your procrastination? How about those cell phones? How about stress in our lives? Or wandering thoughts? Again, comparison to other people. This is just to name a few. So your challenge for this week is you need to identify one of these distractions. Refocus intentionally this week. Clarity grows where focus lives. I'm going to encourage you to stay faithful in the small things. I'm going to give you a teaser for next week's lesson, episode 2. We have a guest. She's going to talk about leading with conviction, not applause. Again, this is Live Courageous. Stay focused. Thank you for listening. God bless.